Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Democracy 3. My name, of course, is Over the Potato. We are playing as a Socialist USA. Indeed we are. We are very much going after that Socialist Utopia achievement, and to do that we need to achieve three things. Equality over 90%. Let me give you a quick update on equality. Probably at around 10% right now, in fairness. Not very good at all. Poverty rate, we also need to be getting pretty darned low. Currently that's sitting around, what, 35, 40, 45%, give or take? I don't really know, but that's what I would imagine it would be anyway. But, you know, we've implemented a couple of policies that are supposedly going to be dealing with poverty. One of them is state housing, and a policy that we haven't quite sort of grasped by the horns like a bull, by the way, is a sales tax, because we haven't got rid of that yet, because we quite simply don't have the cash to do so. But believe you me, everybody believe me right now, we are prioritizing very highly the removal of the sales tax. But anyway, unemployment's up, a little bit annoying, probably because we're scaling back on road building. We also started to scale back on military spending, so that's yet another reason why unemployment would be going up. I mean, if you look at military spending, it's gonna go down a significant percentage. I mean, what are we currently spending at the moment? 156 billion. Wow, and that's just all going to be eradicated. So all of this benefit that we get from the fact that people are employed, it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone. Not like I'm opposed, by the way, as a socialist sort of government, to actually employing people by the state, you know, with the state. You know, socialists tend to do that, but it just so happens that it doesn't really matter if you employ people by the state or not by the state, because, I mean, who cares? Your equality rate and your poverty rate and your working week is not definable by how many people actually work for the state. So I suppose it can be a bonus if people work for the state, because it reduces poverty, because people are actually in work. But at the same time, you know, it doesn't really matter. So I figure in the early game at least, cutting back on military spending is the correct thing to do, because we will at least have a little bit of extra cash to play around with, you know what I mean? Crime is going to be down for a turn by a significant amount. That's cool. We talked about this at the end of the last episode. I think, and yeah, we actually need to bear in mind the fact that we've got an election to win, and our popularity is slowly climbing, but, you know, it's not doing so hot, but it could be doing worse. I suppose it could be doing a damn sight worse. Anyway, if we take a quick look at our deficit right now, you can see that things aren't so good, but I have faith that over the next few turns we will manage to get our expenditure down. The reason that we're going to manage to get our expenditure down is because it's naturally going to migrate downwards. I mean, look, we're spending 60 billion on road building. You know, in a few turns, that is going to be down to 2 billion. So, easy to see where all of this money is going to come from. Now, is there something else that we could cut back on? Well, not really. We did introduce the state housing policy. You know, we're funding it to the absolute maximum. It's going to take a long time to actually implement itself, but over the course of that time, it's going to, you know, make socialists happy with us. It's going to piss capitalists off. Would you expect anything else? Not really. It's going to make poor people happy with us. It's going to boost our equality, which is, you know, one of the most important things. It's going to reduce poverty. So just the fact that it's reducing poverty and increasing equality is very important indeed. So super happy to be spending cash on that. Now, I did sort of allude to the fact that I would be willing to cut back on our space program, but the fact of the matter is that gives us this technological advantage, which may seem a little bit daft, but it does give us that little extra, you know, 3% boost to GDP and productivity, which inadvertently feeds into GDP, if that makes sense. So, not super eager to cut back on the space program, but hey ho. Alcohol abuse. Yeah, we need to try and tackle alcohol abuse, because this is costing us extra money, because, you know, the state health service is paying more money because half the country is just a bunch of alcoholics, apparently. You know, hey ho, what can you do? What can you do? We did adjust the alcohol law, and that should take effect over the course of the next couple of turns, but it's just annoying that it's going to take so long to sort of, you know, sort itself out. Now, rail subsidies. I think actually rail subsidies are actually fairly cuttable, you know? they're fairly cuttable, believe it or not. And that is something that I wouldn't actually mind cutting, because that's a 58 billion a 58 billion pot of cash that we have access to by just getting rid of it. Like, super easy to do. So, you know, I can appreciate people that are like, oh, you know, Potato, you're not playing like a socialist. Well, we're not really playing like a socialist, you know, we're specifically going for this achievement, and that has very specific aims in mind. Like I said, 90% equality rate, poverty rate under 20%, and the lowest possible working week. I don't even know if I described the lowest possible working week last time, but hey-ho, whatever. How is our... Yeah, there we go. Look, perfect. Expenditure, massively slashed right there. Income is now higher than expenditure once again. So it was only for that one turn that we had higher expenditure than income. Also, I'm very concerned about the fact that our credit rating may not be this good forever if we continue just building up debt. So we need to try and steer our income upwards and our expenditure downwards, so that we can increase our credit rating and you know, pay off all of our loans, because it's only right, isn't it? I mean, we've got a shit ton of loans, let's face it. We really do have a shit ton of loans. And, you know, loans in this sort of game, when we're specifically going after a very specific achievement, not super important, right? Because I would imagine that this is going to be a slightly more, I don't know, short-term goal-oriented sort of game. But I don't really know. Also, nobody fucking likes me. Look at this. Like, apart from retired people who fucking love me, nobody else likes me. Nobody else likes me at all. That's a darn shame. But yeah, no, I would imagine that debt isn't really a major issue. Now, can we just cancel rail subsidies straight up? 24 turns to implement. Holy cow, that is quite something. Let's cancel it. We don't need it. We don't need it around. We simply just do not. I mean, that will increase our surplus by, what did we say, like 60 billion or something? So it's actually totally worth doing, without a doubt. Is there anything else that we sort of want to cut back on? I mean, when it starts to get down to the lower stuff, like down here, it's hardly worth like bothering to cut this stuff, because the amount of political capital that you're spending to cut all this stuff is really not worth the cash that you're actually getting back from it. So, you know, when it sort of gets into the 20 billions, then you're sort of a little bit, I don't know, a little bit hesitant to cut back perhaps. But hey ho. Science funding and technology grants and the space program all maintain our technological advantage, so I'm actually okay with just keeping those programs fully funded, even though collectively they're costing me like 150 billion. Probably more than that, actually, probably about 160 billion, but I'm okay with this fact. I'm okay with this. Intelligence services, pretty necessary. Police force, pretty necessary, actually, given the state of our law and order section. I mean, ghettos are going down. They're going down slowly, but you know, whatever. And antisocial behavior seems to be going down fairly slowly as well. Now, is it worth just bumping our funding in police just a little bit, just so that we can get rid of some of these vigilante mobs and this antisocial behavior and stuff, and some alcohol abuse? Like, it actually might be worth doing that. And the reason that I say it might be worth doing that is because it's not like this stuff is costing, you know, a lot of cash. It's just making everybody a little bit more unhappy with us. And if we want to get re-elected, then, you know, making people happy with us is very important. Now, how do we reduce internet crime? I think internet crime is reduced due to the intelligence services. Yeah, it looks like it is. Looks like it is. Well, let's bump, you know what, this turn, you know, we've cut a lot of money out of our government diet, so to speak. So I think this turn we can splash out a little. You know, let's spend a little bit of political capital in the intelligence services, and next turn as well. You know, let's not forget the police force. Next turn we shall bump the spending a little bit for the police service. Okay, debt protection law. What do we want to do? Who's more pissed off with us? I think we're gonna limit the agency activity. Piss the capitalists off a little bit. The reason that I say that is the socialists are a little bit pissed off with us right now. They don't like technology colleges for some darned reason. Apparently it reduces equality. Who'da thunk it? Who'da thunk it indeed? Well, that might actually be a reason to cut this, but at the same time, I've already talked about this a little bit. 14 billion. Is it worth it? 14 billion is a fucking... It's a drop in the bucket, you know? It's a drop in the ocean for us. It's not worth very much. But hey-ho, let's proceed to the next turn. And hope that things don't go too bad. Crime is slowly on the increase because our superhero bonus, you know, wore off. And now poverty is on the increase. Not great. So the state housing still hasn't applied yet. It's not been implemented yet, should I say. Unemployment, not good. It's not going well. It's not going well, I'm afraid, friends. It's not going well. How can we go about, you know, getting unemployment down? Not much we can really do out with investing in public jobs. Approval rate is pretty darn shit, if I'm completely honest. So this might be one of the rare opportunities that we have to actually look at the focus groups. I can't even remember which bloody tab it is. Is it this tab? Yeah, it's this tab. So the focus groups, you know, we can sort of say, hey, what do people want to see implemented? I mean, I find this entire system fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? This sort of shows a little bit of popularity, given which policies are actually popular. So perhaps we should just get rid of some of the less popular policies. You know, I mean, perhaps that's exactly what we do. You know, you never know. You never know. I mean, military spending on 0%, very fucking unpopular, as it turns out. But hey-ho, who gives a damn? Nobody fucking likes the alcohol law, not surprised by that. Prisoner tagging, people don't seem to like prisoner tagging. Only costs us 600 million, and it does actually do a significant amount to violent crime and crime, you know, by 8%. So I don't think we're going to cancel it quite yet. Inheritance tax, pretty freaking unpopular. Pretty freaking unpopular indeed. Does boost equality though, so I think we're actually going to keep it around, at least for now. But the sales tax, oh, holy shitballs, the sales tax is going. Like, this is really unanimously bad. It's agreed by literally everybody. This is a stupidly bad policy. I don't even think we want to spend... Wow, we can bring in so much money. Look at this, like, oh, shit tons of money. It's just that we don't sort of really have the surplus to absorb that decrease in revenue, unfortunately, which a little bit annoying, I guess, but, you know, hey-ho. What about alcohol abuse? Is that going down now? It really should be going down. Our alcohol consumption should be trending downwards thanks to the upgrading of the severity of this alcohol law. You know, whatever. You know, I'm actually going to be okay when... Where is it? Over here. I'm actually going to be okay when the global economy does sink a little bit, because our GDP will go down with that, and that's actually going to be potentially good for stuff like you know, the alcohol abuse, or the alcohol consumption, should I say, because the GDP is high at the moment, right? So there we go. It's a plus 16 boost to alcohol consumption. So when the economy starts going shit, people stop buying booze. It is fairly simple, I think, fairly darn simple. But you know, that's okay. Foreign aid, we're only spending 17 billion on foreign aid, so I'm actually okay with that. Could we scale that back a little bit, save an extra 10 billion? Well, we could, but those foreign relations do actually feed into international trade. Yeah, international trade, which is actually doing kind of alright at the moment. International trade is reduced by foreign relations? What do we want to do about this, actually? Maybe we want to boost this a little bit, actually. That's going to cost us a shit ton of money, though. I'm not really keen with spending a shit ton of money, and I also don't want to muck around with my currency strength too much in case it fucks up my GDP or my money supply or something, which we haven't actually implemented yet. We haven't actually talked about inflation or money supply yet. You know, that's all run through the Federal Reserve in America, which is kind of cool. But yeah, not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I mean, what can we do? Intelligence services are being upgraded by, or being down, or their effectiveness is being downgraded by the intelligence services. That's really, really good to see. And oh yes, we were going to upgrade the police force. We were just going to say, hey, you know, guys, you're doing a great job. We want you to continue doing great stuff, even if it costs us an extra 20 billion per year. You know what? 20 billion per year, we can easily fork out for that. It's going to be like, what? a seventh of our current surplus at the moment. Obviously, we need to bear in mind that our surplus is going to shrink dramatically over the course of the next couple of turns. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because the global economy is crashing, our GDP is going to crash along with it, and our debt repayments will be slower, but they will still happen. That's important, right? Our income always needs to be above our expenditure if we want to be paying off our debt. Okay, public ban on smoking. We'll leave the law unchanged, because we want to make sure that the liberals are somewhat happy with us. Creationism versus evolutionism. Do we want to boost religious happiness? I don't know. What do we want to do? Do we want to try and strike the balance? I don't really know. I really don't know. We've got 18 political capital that we've got to burn through, and I don't really know, quite frankly, what we're going to burn it on. I don't quite frankly know what we're burning on. You know what? If we're going to get 19 political capital per turn, then we can actually just save this turn's and the next turn's political capital, and we'll just end up with 37 political capital, which is absolutely fine, There is an ethnic plot by the Black Power Group to try and assassinate me, potentially. Very, very worrying. GDP's received a small boost, probably thanks to this high productivity scenario that's developed, which is very, very nice. Productivity is so darned high, and I literally have no idea why. Because our alcohol consumption and our health is absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Like, really, really fucking bad. Wow, look at how atrocious our health is. Holy shit. Really need a state healthcare service. So, I really don't know why you're not happy. Probably because there's quite a lot of racial tension going on right now. Like, this is not great. This is not very good at all, in fact. I mean, we want to decrease racial tension. So I suppose if we upgrade citizenship tests, then that will reduce racial tension. It might be too late. Like, we may still be assassinated. Like, holy shitballs. People are very, very annoyed at us. Very, very annoyed at us, in fact. This might be too late, it absolutely might be too late. We just haven't gotten rid of ghettos fast enough, which I think, it may be something to watch for, next time. Oh, vigilante mobs is going to be ending, which will actually have a knock-on effect in terms of ghettos. If we can just survive one more turn, then we'd be in a very, very good position. Anyway, we've got to spend a little bit of political capital. Where do we want to spend it? Do we want to introduce anything? I think, a language course probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do it. We'll put it on available because we don't want to be increasing immigration by too much. But fingers crossed we don't get assassinated this turn. It's entirely possible, right? It's entirely possible. Oh my god, credit rating upgraded. Capitalists are going to be happy with us. GDP is going to get a little bit of a boost. Vigilante mobs is finished. Unemployment is down. Crime is down. Holy shit, everything is going great. 23% of the electorate realize that I'm the best guy in the world. That's right. And it seems like we're making a little bit more money, actually, because our GDP once again rose. Our income rose. Wow. What a turn, actually. What a turn. I don't think it's really going to... Holy shit, the Revolutionary Army? Are you shitting me, guys? Why are you guys so pissed off at me? Like, why? You guys have got a lot to be happy about. Are you kidding me? I'm literally rolling out state housing to try and make sure that all the people that are homeless are housed. Like, why would you be annoyed at that? It seems so ridiculously annoying. But thankfully, ghettos has ended, and that should mean that... thankfully, ghettos has ended. Thankfully, vigilante mobs has ended, which means that ghettos will be decreasing at a slightly faster pace now. Fingers crossed, anyway. I hope that will be the case. Internet crime is reducing, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. And alcohol abuse is still at the fucking top. Why? Why is it so high? I mean, we've even adjusted the alcohol law. I think, in fairness, right, it's really difficult to alter the alcohol consumption without the introduction of the alcohol tax, which is not something that I'm really a fan of doing because it will increase poverty, which is one of our key metrics in this game. And we really don't want to increase poverty at all. So I've tried very, very hard to make it so that alcohol consumption is coming down, purely due to the alcohol law, but if we adjust it any more, then it really pisses everybody off a lot. Like, liberals especially. Like, fucking liberals. Jesus Christ. They get very antsy about shit. I mean, who are they? They are... is it the Freedom League? I think the liberals are the Freedom League. Let me just check. Yeah, the Freedom League. They're actually not super pissed off with us. They're not actually super pissed off with us right now. For some reason, that award goes to the Revolutionary Army, who are really fucking pissed off with us right now. Even though it says their happiness are like 50%, and their happiness has been climbing. Like, what the hell, dudes? What the fucking hell? Your income's been the same. Membership has basically been the same. Like, who gives a damn anyway? Like, it's your happiness what matters, and... let me tell you, your happiness is fucking great. You've got nothing to complain about. Oh my goodness. People these days, eh? People these days. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to bring us to the end of this Democracy 3 episode. My name, of course, has been Over the Potato. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.